Hey, hi, and hello again, folks. We're doing another episode of Learning Lumatone today, and one that focuses on an aspect of this instrument that really lets its 280 key shine. The multi-manual feature. It lets you control multiple instruments from your Lumatone as a sort of master controller, and lets you lay them out anywhere and however you wish. So you can visualize your dream palette of sounds right in front of you, always under your fingertips, totally streamlining your creative process. So let's not waste any time and just dive straight in. So we did an episode on this quite a while ago, just kind of going over the basics of how to set up your virtual instruments on different MIDI channels and map them out on the Lumatone. So feel free to check that out if you are unsure how to set this up. But today we're going to do a little experimenting and see how we can go about setting up some instruments and sounds that go beyond the 5 or 6 MIDI channels that come on the multi-manual preset. So just taking a look at how the default multi-manual preset is laid out, it uses a piano-like pattern used in most mappings with the sharps and naturals starting from C. So each instrument is part of a similar color family. For example, the orange and red row here is assigned to MIDI channel 1. The light and dark blue row is MIDI channel 2. The light and dark green row is MIDI channel 3. This pink row is MIDI channel 5. And then we have these partial rows on the top and bottom, which is assigned to MIDI channel 4 and MIDI channel 6, which work great for drums or loops or even sound effects. So let's just start by building a little chamber orchestra with these channels and expand out after that. There's a bass here on channel 1. We can see here in the Lumatone editor software, I've got it set up with my MIDI notes for this first row to be in the lower register, and it starts to climb as we go down the rows, with the next blue row starting an octave above the orange and red row. So this blue row would be a good place to stick a cello. Now this green row can be a viola and the pink row could be a violin. Being that those instruments are higher in register, we could stick them on as is and have them be played more up on the right side of the board. But I'd like to save this right side of the board for other things, so we can just make some MIDI note adjustments to have the bulk of their notes land on the left side. Now, if you don't know how this software works, check out an earlier episode we did going through the ins and outs of it, but just real quick, I'll make the green row start an octave above the cello, and the violin start an octave above the viola, by simply assigning the corresponding MIDI notes for those octaves. And I'll do that for the first 3 sections of the Lumatone. And now we have the viola assigned to the first 3 sections of the green row. And the violin on the pink row. And for this partial row down here at the bottom, we can have a couple orchestral drum loops assigned. And now we have 5 instruments laid out in the first 3 sections of the Lumatone, which leaves sections 4 and 5 open for some new sounds. Having an orchestral bass palette, I'd like to assign this extra space to being different articulations of instruments we already have. Being able to have long articulations on one side and then short articulations like staccatos or pizzicatos on the other side really gives you a wide range of options when you're writing for strings. Having all these just laid out right in front of you saves you a lot of time and lets you work on the fly in a really creative way. So let's assign each row with different MIDI channels for section 4 and 5 with the corresponding MIDI notes that will offer the range of the instrument that would be used most. I won't have the full range of the instruments, but I will include what I would use for the most part. And this is going to be more of a writing tool anyway, so transposing the MIDI notes after recording is easy to do if necessary. Now we got our short articulations set up for the right side of the board. The legatos are on the left. And the short articulation of that same instrument is on the right on the same row. All right, this palette's feeling pretty stacked. Let's see how it feels. can't stress enough how streamlined it is to have all these different sounds right at your fingertips as you get creative. But now that we have a mapping set up with all these different MIDI channels, let's just have some fun and set up a quick new palette with some synths and keys. We can start here with a low pad on channel 1 with the Oberheim. Getting a bit of a higher register pad with the Jupiter 8 on MIDI channel 2. Try out a sequencer here on MIDI channel 3. And then we get a nice fuzzy lead courtesy of the Matrix synth here on channel 5. Over here on the right side of the board, we can get a nice thick MIDI Moog bass. And who doesn't love a classic Mellotron sound on MIDI channel 7? And channel 9, we can have a nice crunchy Rhodes sound. And I'd be remiss to not have a glidey Prophet lead here. Stick that on channel 10. And let's just have some 808s and percussion on some of these partial keys. Alright, let's start just by laying down a simple rhythm section here. Just making these palettes is a lot of fun, and there's really no limit to coming up with these mega hybrid palettes that can all be accessed on one instrument. Saving all these instruments in your DAW as a template with a corresponding Lumatone mapping file is definitely a quick way to start creating instantly. But many thanks to you folks for watching. We'll see you next time.